Sorry for the confusion. We'll go ahead and call the meeting of council to order, and I'll have the roll call, please. Tom Webster, Councillor Webster.
Present.
Councillor Carew.
Present.
Councillor Humphreys.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Campbell.
Present.
And I'm present so far. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? None being heard. Confirmation of the council agenda. Councillor Webster.
I will move.
Deputy Mayor Campbell.
I'll second that.
Councillor Webster.
In favor?
Councillor Humphreys.
In favor.
Councillor Carew.
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Campbell.
In favor.
And I'm in favor. So this evening we got a delegation, I believe that have called and said they couldn't make it. And I will turn it over to Councillor Carew to take us forward, please.
Yeah, thank you. So committee adjustment meeting was 4-3. So we call to order. Council Webster, sorry. Did I freeze or? Yeah, roll call. Yeah, sorry. I called.
Present.
I called your name. I didn't hear anything.
Present.
Sorry. Councillor Humphreys.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Campbell.
Present.
And Mayor Bennett.
Present.
Okay, item 2, declaration of community interest. Seeing none. Minutes from previous minutes from the June 1st meeting on page 2. Do I have a mover or a seconder? And Deputy Mayor Campbell and Councillor Humphreys. Any questions or comments?
No, not.
Here's seeing none. You call each one, I guess, Hope, as usual.
Just the one question, Lane.
Yeah.
Or Councillor Carew. On the minutes, 4.5, it should have been recreational vehicle. It's just nitpicking, but it said recreational building, but it should have been 4.5 decision for storage for a recreational vehicle and not a recreational building. So that's the only thing on that minutes. Otherwise, I so move.
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so all in favor, Councillor Webster,
In favor?
Mayor Bennett,
In favor.
and Councillor Humphreys,
In favor.
and Deputy Mayor Campbell.
In favor.
Okay, item 4, Joanna Backer, item number A04-21. With 3.1, purpose of the meeting. And I'll pass it to yourself, Hope, or Nikki, sorry. Nikki, right? Usually, yeah, Nikki, sorry.
Yep, so I'll do it.
Okay,
So the purpose
sorry.
of, that's okay. So the purpose of the minor variance, the property is zoned rural under comprehensive zoning bylaw 2010-14. Section 3.7 states that no more than one building used as a dwelling or containing one or more dwelling units shall be erected on any lot unless stated otherwise in the bylaw. However, section 2.2 24.2 of the official plan allows for secondary dwelling units on lots greater than 0.8 hectares and must be connected to the same water and septic service as the primary dwelling. The applicant is proposing to build a secondary dwelling on the property for their parents to reside in, and will be a communal well and septic. The application for minor variance essentially is to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw 2010-14 to allow for the secondary dwelling on the property of 140 Tinswood Road as stated in section 2.2 24.2 of the County of Renfrew's official plan. Notice of the public meeting was sent by regular mail to the 9 property owners within the 60-meter radius required. And to date, we have not received any comments or concerns in objection or in favor.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you finished 3.2 and 3.3. Public participation. Do we have any questions with the application from the public? No one here from the public. Is that correct?
There's nobody here from the public, and the applicants sent their regrets that they were unable to attend as well.
Okay. So any questions from the committee members? Mayor Bennett?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Clue. I'm just wondering what happens at this point as far as the age of some of the septics as we move forward, how that is checked to make sure that the septic systems are adequate to handle the second household, because a lot of these older farmhouses did not exceed 600 to 800 gallon tanks, which is well below what's required today as you put in more water service.
So if I may, that would be done through the building permit stage. When they apply for the building permit with the information provided to our chief building official, that's when he would take a look and determine whether it can accommodate the extra dwelling or not, or whether they would have to put in a new system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councilor Humphreys.
Yeah, just a quick note. This family, this house is a newer residence. It was built by the Mr. Vanderplug's son, so it is a newer 2-story house going in there. The family has come and they are very family oriented, and it's sort of a good thing. Where the original farm is, it's right on this within the same driveway, and many years, like 50, 60 years ago, there was a Dutch family, the Vanderplugs came, and they actually shared a house, and so they have had other experiences with communal living back there, and we should welcome them to the community because they've already invested well over $1 million in Horton Township by buying farms and farmlands and future developments. So I'm a positive thinker about that. Mayor Bennett's question is good, but that house is a newer build than the original farmhouse. So thank you.
Mayor Bennett.
Thank you, Councillor Humphries. Yeah, I was aware this one way it was a newer home. I was just inquiring for as we move forward, because as we change the official plan, it's actually going to become pretty popular, I would think, towards keeping your parents at home to begin with. So.
Totally agree with you.
Okay, and I guess something this also would be looked at our next zoning amendment, right? It'd be.
Yeah, it would be encompassed because it is the provincial statute, I guess, but it would be all encompassed within our zoning bylaw review when we do that eventually once the official plan gets passed.
Okay. Okay, seeing No other questions? And 3.6 decision.
That the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Horton approve the minor variance application A04-21 Johanna Backer to allow a secondary dwelling on the property of 140 Tinswood Road for their parents to reside in as stated in section 2.224.2 of County of Renfrew's official plan.
Okay, do I have a mover? Is that correct, Hope? Sorry.
Yep.
It's been a while. Yeah, so that's fine. Councilor Humphries.
I so move.
And second by Council Webster. Okay. Deputy Mayor Campbell.
Favor?
Council Webster.
In favor?
Councilor Humphries.
In favor.
And Mayor Bennett.
In favor.
And I'm in favor. Okay, and that adjourns the committee adjustment meeting. I'll pass it back to yourself, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you, Councilor Crew. We'll go back to the regular council meeting then, and I'll ask for the minutes for approval for June 29th, special council, and July 6th, regular council. Do I have a mover? Councilor Carew, second by Councilor Webster. Any comments? None being heard. Deputy Mayor Campbell.
In favor?
Councilor Webster.
In favor?
Councilor Humphries.
In favor.
Councilor Carew. I believe you said you're in favor. You're muted.
In favor, sorry.
Thank you. And I'm in favor. Hi, Susan. Hi, Spencer. Business arising from the minutes? None? Thank you. Committee reports, general government. Chair, Deputy Mayor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor Bennett, and welcome Susan and Spencer. So 7.1.1, page 9, the financial statement, and I will turn that over to our treasurer, Natalie.
Okay, so on page 9, I'll start there. Our final tax billing has gone out. We processed it last week. And we're actually starting to see payments already. It's surprising how many people called looking for their bills. And now that all the townships in Renfrew County have inputted their rates into Opta, I was able to get a comparison, which is on page 10 of the package. But just keep in mind, for simplicity's sake, I only pulled the residential rate for the entire county, or else the report would have been a lot longer. So that's the residential rate and where we stand with the other municipalities. So you guys can have a look at that. Page 11, the COVID expenses. The conference expenses. With COVID and not being able to attend conferences in person, staff is all taking courses this year. So I think right now, most of us are enrolled in something. So that's kind of what we've been doing in place of the in-person. And I know Hope attended one virtual conference, and I'm going to attend one in September. Hopefully we'll be able to resume to in-person next year. But on page 12 for the COVID expenses, we recently had to submit a preliminary report on how we've been spending our funds. It was very just high level, just summarizing it. And then I think later this year, we'll have to get into the specifics of how much each department spent and what our purposes were and our justifications. A little further down on page 12, the heat. Susan, I corrected that. So it now reflects what it should have been. We were missing a 0 there on the end. If we, sorry. So then another thing I wanted to touch on was the gas tax program. At our last Renfrew County Clerk Treasurer's meeting, the Municipal Affairs and Housing rep was there, and they're changing the gas tax program, the name of it, to the Canada Community Building Fund. They just said it was more suiting for what the purpose of the funds are. And they also did mention that although we are capable of banking it for up to 5 years, that it's probably more to our benefit to spend the funds as we get them. Because if we save them up for too long, it kind of gives the impression that Horton doesn't need the funding. So it is wise to spend it in, you know, the year or the year after we get it, not necessarily save it. So I thought that was an interesting view on that. If we jump to page 17, I'd highlighted the library agreement. I'm sure you may have heard, but it was kind of a quick turnaround, but the Renfrew Library had recently organized a pop-up program at the Horton Community Center. It was not very well attended because, like I said, they had just notified us the week ahead, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to promote it on their behalf. So we just wanted to let you know that that's, I'm assuming, because of our agreement with the public library, that they're using our venue to broaden their services to our residents. So hopefully next time we can promote a little more. And then the last item, not that it's highlighted, but we're going to get our budget worksheets out to managers next week and ask to have them returned to us by second week in September so we can get rolling on that. And if they get them in sooner, then we might be able to get ahead of the game and hopefully have it passed by the end of the year this year. And that's all I have for that one.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. So again, just a quick review, and Susan, you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Chair Campbell. I have just a couple of quick questions for you, Tally.
Okay.
Just going back to page 10, and can you just clarify for me, this is the review of all the townships in the county. Is this the actual levy? But it does say levy change. So I'm not very clear on what this means. Maybe you can help me out.
So our change overall would encompass all the classes and
Okay.
any variations within the classes. So this is just our residential for the entire county. So there may have been more changes in the other, like industrial, commercial, that sort of thing. But for this residential alone, that's what this report's for.
So is this a change from last year? Like a change to me means it's a change from something, right? So is it the
Yeah, from
change from last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So at least it's a comparator.
Mhm.
So our levy is not actually 1.677. It's the
No.
change from last year, right?
Yeah, because there's a different ratio on how much tax burden there is in different tax classes.
Okay.
So that's why it's not exactly 2%.
Okay. So it's a good comparator though. So that's helpful. And I had another quick question on page 11 under protective services, sort of midway on protective services. I just wondered about the salary line because the budget is 1,300 and we've spent 32. So I just wondered why the variation there or what that was about. Do you see where that is, Tally?
I do see it. I'd have to look at the detail in that one, Susan.
Okay. All right. Now maybe you could get back to me on that one.
Yes, I'll highlight that.
And the other quick question, and maybe this is more for Hope than for Tally, but either one can answer. I remember when we had the review with Rory when we went through, and I know we're going to go through the report again, but there was a management letter that came with that. And I just wondered what the plan was around some of those things with regards to their suggestions on some internal audit pieces.
I can take that one. So once council actually formally adopts the management letter and the financial statements, I plan on having a meeting with staff to kind of go over the recommendations and build a timeline of how we can better adhere to the recommendations and work towards that success. So that's my plan. So once we adopt them tonight, then that's the step moving forward.
And I know they're pretty minor things, but it's good to at least look at them and say, is that something we need to or want to follow up on or not? I mean, it doesn't mean you have to, but
yeah,
probably the conversation would be helpful. So that's good. Okay, no, I think that's all I had, Chair Campbell.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Susan, for your input. Are there any other questions, Mayor Bennett?
This is real quick, and just asking it because it's got to do with the library. Well, when we signed the agreement, that we were entitled to have Horton represent us on the library board. Has that ever happened?
so we do have a member of the Horton community sitting on the board. It was difficult kind of through COVID. So they are volunteering, and then once they start having more regular board meetings, they'll be reporting to the township.
Thank you.
Okay,
I had one question.
Spencer.
On the various lines in each of the departments for insurance, it looks like we've spent what our budget is. Is that the year-to-date budget tally?
Yeah, so insurance is paid at the beginning of the year for the entire year. So we know the number right from the get-go. So that's, yeah.
I guess the question is, does that budgeted amount include the increase that we've been given by the insurance companies?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a run rate. Okay, that's clear.
Okay, good. Again, good questions, because we all remember the jump in our insurance, so that's kind of sitting at the top. So on page 20, again, is the McKilligan Associates reference to the meeting we had, and again, that was brought up by Hope a few minutes ago. Is there any questions, errors, or omissions? Anybody? Again, that'll be adopted later on in the meeting, I believe, tonight. Any questions on that report? Okay, not hearing any. 7.1.3 staff report land acknowledgement on page 48. And the author is Hope for recommendations.
So I don't have anything additional. I won't go over my report in full, but sorry, I do have something additional to tell you. I did end up getting an estimate for the 4 Seasons of Reconciliation training that I referred to in my report, and it is $80 per person. And there is enough money in the budget if council and staff wish to take this training. So that's just something to be mindful of, and that likely would be, if we want to move forward with it, likely in the fall that we could do that.
And pardon me, Hope, could you, the price per person again?
It's $80 per person. Yeah.
You just broke up there. It was hard to.
Oh, yeah. And it's all, obviously, it will be online training.
Okay. And I'm sure we'll have individuals interested. Okay. Any questions on the report? Susan.
Maybe just a comment. I thought that the material that you sent along from the Engineers of Canada was really quite interesting and easily understood and easily read. I have actually shared it with some staff on our school board as well. I know this is something we're looking at too, although we're waiting for our Indigenous trustee to help us with that. But I thought it was a good resource, and the training looks like it would be helpful as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Susan. And that would have been a good share as well. So on page 60, job evaluation and pay equity project. So hope you can walk us through. I believe we're a little tardy in bringing this to bringing it up to speed. So I'll let you bring us up. Bring it up.
So again, I won't go into detail my report as you've all had a chance to read it. But the reason for the sole sourcing, and as I explained in my report, is that this particular company has already done reviews and worked with other municipalities in the county of Renfrew, and they've gained that comparator information. So that's one less thing that they would have to do if we retained their services. And I thought it would be a great idea to retain them and be compliant with legislation.
Any questions or concerns? Susan?
You're not going to want me to attend meetings anymore. I just had a couple of comments. I just think it's really good that you've gone ahead and looked at getting this done, because it is supposed to be done, I think, every 5 years. Is that the guideline? And I think it was an excellent idea to go to an outside consultant this round, just for a fresh set of eyes to look at it. I know we've used internal county staff previously, but I think it's always good to kind of test that against some external eyes as well. So I think it's a great idea, and glad to see it getting done.
Thank you, Susan. And I have to agree with you. It shows transparency. It, and as Hope has just reported that they have the background and all the information right now. So sole sourcing for that, I certainly would be in favor for that. And then the funds being paid out of the modernization reserves, so the money is there for it as well. Is there any?
I had just one other follow-up questions, if I may, Chair Campbell. Sorry about that. I did wonder, I know around the job description, those were done a number of years ago. And I know it's really your purview, Hope. Will council members have a chance to look at job descriptions as well? Or is that something you're going to retain kind of within the staff venue?
I think at this point I would retain that in the staff venue, but when the recommendations come to the table from the consultant and staff, then that is when we'll provide the information to council. And I mean, if anybody wants to review them and come into my office, by all means, I wouldn't deny anybody to take a look at them. So if the request is there, by all means, they can for sure. But I wasn't going to include that as part of the review for the consultation with council for job descriptions.
And that's fine. I think as long as there's some input down the road, that's great. Thanks.
Thank you, Susan. And again, there have been some additions to some of the job descriptions that from our frontline workers. So it is good to keep that current, and yes, on that five-year span. So that's 7.1.4 job staff report for the job evaluation pay equity, page 60. Is there any other questions, concerns? Thank you, Susan and Spencer, certainly for jumping in, and your input is valued. And no, you can't ask enough questions, Susan. So thank you very much. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Campbell. We will move along to Transportation and Environmental Services Committee. Chair Webster.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Spencer.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tally, if you're leaving us. Great job again.
Bye, Tally.
Okay, in regard to the test report, everybody's had a chance to read it. So we had to reissue the is it an RFQ for the municipal dock, as we got no bids the first time, so we're going to wait till the spring and then come out with it again for next season. So we're just going to carry on with it. Adam felt that it was good enough to carry on this season, and we'll just get it ready for next season. Golf course road rehabilitation. So the committee was in agreement to put funds towards the project. So this is another same as McBride Road. I keep forgetting that. Just joint venture Mr. Bromley. So we're working on that agreement. That's got to come forward. Maybe Hope can update us on that, because there was a request from their township to get something in place prior to us moving forward with this. Hope, do you want to speak to that at all?
Sure. So they have requested, and we completely agree to work towards a boundary road agreement, just so that it kind of defines more of the responsibility and roles and funding contributions for all of the boundary roads with Admast and Bromley. So that will be added to the recommendation that's in the report, which is something that we wanted to do anyways. As well as additionally, we have requested detailed invoices for McBride Road so that we can know that final figure that we split already 50-50. So I think that's all I had to add at this point.
Yeah, and it's just, instead of this unofficial shaking of the hands agreement, it's actually down on paper that we move forward with. And I think that's a better housekeeping item that we keep on file moving forward with any new roads or newer agreements that we have these in place. The concrete fuel containment. So Adam went out and there was a price come in extremely high. So we're working at different options here to move forward in regards to that one. And then
Question through the chair on that.
yes,
Councillor Webster, is this like a burned structure? Is that why the cost is so high, or it's not?
Yeah.
It's not just a slab.
No, so the original, the double wall tanks that are going in there. So going above and beyond that, we thought as a committee that we would bring this containment area just in case something happened. So we were thinking of going above and beyond. So then we went out for a price, and we had an original price of Mayor Bennett or Councillor Carew can help me. I think it was right around the 10-12 grand, but it wasn't sole source. So we wanted to be transparent and go out and get actual proper bids for everybody. And then we only had the one bid that came in. The original bidder or estimator did not bid at that time. So we got an outside bid of this high containment, or this high the high-end number for doing the job, and we just thought it was too much money because they are double wall tanks and everything else. So we're working towards getting to that containment still in place, but at a lesser cost. So there's been discussion and everything going on. So we'll, if things change, we will bring it back to this council.
Fair enough. Excuse me. Fair enough. Thank you.
And then new other business. Just discussion on the Thompson Hill design update. So I just we're asking for Adam to get a hold of them prior to our September meeting, our next meeting, and to come forward where they are at with it. We hopefully they're going to be, by the sounds of it, we're going to be really close to being done by the September meeting. So hopefully that comes forward to us, and that is my report. Is there any questions, comments? Seeing none, I will pass that back to you, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you, Councilor Webster. Protective Services Committee, Chair Carew.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. There's a few items that I'm sure you have everyone read the report. A few items touch on is with the yield to flashing green light signage has gone up. And if in a few areas, they're all going up throughout the municipality. I'm sure you've all seen them now. It's a good notice and public education, just to provide public to yield to our volunteer firefighters. And a discussion that how can we promote education through the tax bill or our social media website. So we're continuing that. And then we had a discussion on the private road access. So the fire department is collecting data right now on all the private roads, determine, like, for example, for width of the road and the height for clear areas, late, so they're collecting the data and then they're going to bring it back. And hopefully, the outcome of that would be a policy on that. And then the last item, like the congrats to Mike Fortier for the he was selected as deputy chief position. I'd like to congratulate him on that, and that's it. And I'll put it back to yourself. Okay, any questions? Sorry. Deputy Mayor Campbell.
I guess just to echo your comments on congratulating Mike Fortier for Deputy Fire Chief position. I know he also, when we're looking to for our new fire chief, which at the time to replace Fire Chief Corbin, he also applied at that level as well. His resume is, he's a very, very well adjusted in for the firefighting. His mechanic, his background is pretty extraordinary, and so I think we certainly lucked out with him being stepped up to deputy fire chief, and I think he'll fit the bill quite well. And again, just congratulations. A fellow should sit down and just have a quick talk with him and just go through his background. It's pretty amazing what that man has come, where he started and where he's came to. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And any other questions? I'll turn it back to yourself, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you, Chair Clover. We'll move on to the correspondence summary, the information correspondence. Councillor Webster, you want to take it?
Yeah. So I had it was fresh in my mind last week, but the CNSC positive news there, getting the environmental impact statement out, or the final one done. So good news there, and that's a great read. And then in regards to the conference, has anybody signed up to go or virtually do the conference this year for the AMO? I haven't heard anything.
No, there's nobody signed up.
Okay, moving forward for next year, hopefully it's in person, but it's a great conference. That's all I had, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you. Chair Carew. Well, actually, Councillor Carew.
Doesn't much like that. Just maybe on page, I think it was page 14. Just a good read on MPP John Yakubuski's new role. It's a good read. I'm not sure if you haven't read it yet. It was a good read. Other than that, I think I'll pass it back.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Humphreys.
Thank you, Mayor Bennett. Local businessman inducted into the International Maple Syrup Hall of Fame in New York. Ray Bonsberg from Pembroke's Mapleside Sugar Bush was inducted. He's done a lot of work both in Canada and the US, pushing the maple sugar industry across both countries. It'd be quite an honor for that. He's a great guy. All he thinks about is making syrup and being in the sugar bush. So it's a real plus to be from Renfrew County and recognized in the New York City Hall of Fame for the very big in Vermont and New Hampshire. A lot of maple trees there too. And second thing was Mr. Yakubuski. His reflections were very good, not realizing he's going to be the next parliamentary assistant to the premier. So it's really good exposure for Renfrew County again. So he's done a great job. He represents us well, and that's all I have for the info correspondent for it. So thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor Bennett. Again, nothing really to add other than, Yakubuski, I think if we could send a letter on our behalf for, thanking him for the work he's done in the position of past, and certainly wishing him well in the future. I know that man has done a lot for Horton and is always there to guide and listen and certainly jump in with both sleeves rolled up. So just want to acknowledge that. And yeah, the conferences as well as Councillor Webster, it's certainly much better when you can attend in person and talk one-on-one. So looking forward to when that gets back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not have anything to add this month to what's already been said. There is in our September meeting, there will be some updates that go along with this, but right at the moment, thank you, gentlemen, and you've looked after it. Action correspondence. Support for suicide and crisis hotline. Comments. I'm being heard. We're certainly going to support it as we move forward. Well, I believe council's in favor of supporting it as we move forward. So that will just be brought up when we call for at the end of the meeting here. Okay, thank you. And the bylaw for the fire chief will be brought up at the end also. I'm almost comfortable with this Zoom stuff, and now we're going to change it again. Notice to file motion for next council meeting, and I have not succeeded to get this off the map yet, so probably going to be there till the end of the term. Any motion to for the next meeting? None. Council and staff members' concerns. None. None, Hope? No. Motion for reconsideration. Debate on motion for reconsider only. Nobody's hands going up real quick. Thank you. Resolutions. Hope.
That council accept the financial departmental report and statement as information.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Humphreys. Second by Deputy Mayor Campbell. Councillor Webster.
In favor?
Councillor Carew.
In favor?
Councillor Humphreys.
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Campbell.
In favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council accept the 2020 financial statements as prepared by McKillican and Associates.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Humphreys. Second by Councillor Carew. Deputy Mayor Campbell.
In favor.
Councillor Webster.
Favor?
Councillor Carew.
In favor?
Councillor Humphreys.
In favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council of the Township of Horton approve that a land acknowledgement be read at council meetings beginning September 2021, immediately following the call to order, and that it be added also to the township's website.
Do I have a mover? Don't have a mover? Councillor Webster, second by Councillor Humphreys. Councillor Carew.
Sorry, my cut out for a second. What was the motion, the resolution, sorry? The motion?
That council of the Township of Horton approve that a land acknowledgement be read at council meetings beginning in September 2021, immediately following the call to order, and that it be added to the township's website.
Go ahead, you have the floor, Councillor.
Oh, sorry. Now, I'm just wondering, should we postpone this just until we all take the training. We can do the training and then put it in place. This is just my suggestion.
Sure, if that's the direction that council wishes to move forward.
I do think that we're ready to move forward with this cart lane, Councillor Carew. But it's whatever council wishes. I don't want the envelope to be too big coming to the council chamber. We'll do it in steps, and we'll eventually get there. So, Councillor Webster,
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Councillor Carew, Councillor Carew.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Councillor Humphreys,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Campbell,
In favor?
and I think we've totally lost Councillor Carew. And I'm in favor.
That Council of the Township of Horton approve staff's recommendation to single source and award the job award of the job evaluation and pay equity project to Cornerstone Management Solutions Limited at an upset cost of $11,470 plus HST, and that this be funded from the modernization reserves.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Humphrey, second by Deputy Mayor Campbell. Councillor Webster,
In favor?
did you happen to hear what was brought forward there, Councillor Carew?
No, I didn't. Sorry about that.
Okay.
My
May I have you
internet
read
froze
again,
and
please?
apologize.
So the motion on the table moved by Councillor Humphreys, seconded by Deputy Mayor Campbell. It's that Council of the Township of Horton approve staff's recommendation to single source and award the job evaluation and pay equity project to Cornerstone Management Solutions Limited at an upset cost of $11,470 plus HST, and that this be funded from the modernization reserves.
In favor.
Okay. Councillor Humphreys,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Campbell,
Favor?
Mr. Webster,
Favor.
and I'm in favor.
That council accept the test committee's chair's report as information.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Webster. Second by Councillor Humphreys. Councillor Carew,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Campbell,
Favor?
Councillor Humphreys,
In favor.
Councillor Webster,
In favor?
and I'm in favor.
That upon recommendation from the test committee, council agree to contribute 50% of the cost toward the rehabilitation of Golf Course Road with the Township of Badmaston Bromley and allocate $53,371 in the 2022 capital budget from the roads infrastructure reserves. And that any remaining funds available left from the $80,000 upset amount set aside for the shared rehabilitation of McBride Road be allocated toward a down payment for the Township of Horton's portion of the rehab of Golf Course Road. And further that both the Township of Horton and the Township of Badmaston Bromley will work together to develop a boundary road agreement that clarifies both municipalities' roles, boundaries, and funding contributions.
Do I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Campbell, Councillor Humphreys, Councillor Webster,
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Campbell,
Favor?
Councillor Humphreys.
In favor.
Councillor Carew, did you actually hear the motion?
I caught the end of it. Yeah. In favor.
Okay, and I'm in favor.
That upon recommendation from the test committee, council will reject the sole bid submission from 114-75579 for Public Works 2021-10 concrete fuel containment pad in the amount of $33,722.14.
Do I have a mover? Counselor Humphries? Second by Counselor Webster? Counselor Carew?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Campbell?
In favor.
Counselor Humphries?
In favor.
Counselor Webster?
In favor.
I'm in favor.
That council accept the Protective Services Committee Chair's report as information.
Mover? Counselor Humphries? Gonna have to get you an automatic arm tonight, Doug. Second by Counselor Carew. Deputy Mayor Campbell?
In favor.
Counselor Carew?
In favor?
Counselor Humphries?
In favor.
Counselor Webster?
Favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council accept the CAO clerk's information memo for July 20th, 2021.
Mover? Counselor Webster? Second by Counselor Carew. Deputy Mayor Campbell?
In favor.
Counselor Humphries?
In favor.
Counselor Webster?
In favor.
Counselor Carew? Rosen again,
Oh, there he is.
In favor?
and I'm in favor.
That the Township of Portland Council hereby support the town of Caledon in endorsing the federal government's initiative to adopt 988, which is a national 3-digit suicide and crisis hotline number. And further, that staff forward a copy of this resolution to Honorable Patty Hajdu, Federal Minister of Health, the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications, CRTC, and all municipalities in Ontario.
Mover? Counselor Humphrey, second by Deputy Mayor Campbell. Counselor Webster?
In favor.
Counselor Carew?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Campbell?
In favor.
Counselor Humphries?
In favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council adopt the following bylaw, 2021-36, appoint deputy fire chief.
Mover? Counselor Carew? Second by Deputy Mayor Campbell. Counselor Webster?
In favor.
Counselor Humphries?
In favor.
Counselor Carew?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Campbell?
In favor.
And I'm in favor.
That council went into a closed session meeting at 4:55 p.m. to discuss the following items pursuant to section 239(2)B and E of the Municipal Act. B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, executive assistant designation, and E, litigation or potential litigation, Farrell's Landing.
Mover? Counselor Webster, second by Counselor Carew. Deputy Mayor Campbell?
In favor.
Counselor Humphries?
In favor.
Counselor Carew?
In favor?
Counselor Webster?